Welcome to the Mindset Mile podcast, the show that'll leave you empowered to take action towards becoming the turned up version of your already awesome self. I'm your host, Aisha Zaza, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's go. Hey fam, welcome back to the Mindset Mile podcast. I'm so happy to be here with you today. This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Upswing Fitness. And today I want to have a conversation about keeping balance through the holidays. And as you know, we are coming up on the time of year that gets a little chaotic. There's a lot of holidays in a short period of time. People let loose, and there's lots of different plans and things to attend, and life just happens to get a little busier naturally during the last couple months of the year. But then it feels like we sort of backpedal and come to this like screeching halt to all of this on January 2nd. And I say January 2nd because let's be honest, I think most people don't really, even with all good intentions, start the new year with whatever their goals and their plans are on the 1st, just because it's a rest day, it is a holiday, it is a recovery day for some people. So just being frank here, January 2nd, we'll call it. But anyways, there's lots of holiday parties, people bringing tempting sweets into work and holiday meals. People tend to overeat. And my hope with this episode is that you go into this holiday season excited and expecting to maintain balance in your life. And I don't just mean this with food. I know I've referenced food and the occasions in which we eat and partake in, they do happen to be centered around food a lot of time this year. But you can look forward to these seasonal treats and meals, but you can also keep up with the healthy habits you've developed through this show, be it through your fitness, your diet, your mindset. And this doesn't just apply to the holiday season, but it just feels very appropriate to talk about now because this does happen to be the time of year that causes overindulging, and then it sets people up to hate the decisions they made when the new year falls like a hammer. So it does happen to be probably the most socially and seasonally stark contrast in the calendar year, which in my opinion perpetuates a lot of bad habits and a really bad mindset when the pendulum swings so far from like one side to the other. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do this season is pick a challenge to do through November or December or both. And the Mindset Mile 30-day challenge happens to be a fantastic way to hold yourself accountable to doing something through this month and next month or both. Most people don't commit to challenges this time of year because they know they won't stick with them perfectly, right? I've rarely spoken with someone that's like, I'm going to start, tracking my macros, or I'm going to do this 30-day challenge at my gym starting November or December 1st. They just know that December is going to be packed with holiday parties and work events and family events, and they're going to be around people that they don't normally see, which often includes eating foods they don't normally eat or drinking wine or whatever it is. But I want to encourage you to pick something to do. And it might feel like you're overcommitting to something you won't stick with, but it will give you a sense of accountability so that you don't go overboard. And I want to encourage you to look at this time of year, and whichever challenge you choose to stick with it's not about being perfect. This is all about maintaining balance and keeping a healthy mindset and healthy habits through an otherwise very chaotic time of year. So if you're a new listener, we're on episode 80 of this show. The first 30 episodes I released as a 30-day challenge for you to either walk or run 1 mile a day while listening to the corresponding daily episode. And I did this because I want to help people build consistency and better habits through taking baby steps instead of feeling like you need to go all in on something and do it perfectly or you're failing. This was my way to show you that you can have powerful transformation by doing something small every day because you said you would. There's absolutely power in following through with your promises to yourself and staying consistent. And so if you're unfamiliar with that, I want to encourage you to take a listen to the first 30 episodes through the month of November or December. You can start it at any time. It doesn't have to be on the first of the month. I don't expect or think that things need to be done or started on a Monday or the first. Like, the best time to start it is right now, whenever you happen to be listening to this. So I want to encourage you also to go back after this episode and listen to 2 episodes that I think are going to really support what we're talking about here. The first one is just a few episodes back, number 76, on how to set yourself up for 2023 now. And I give you some practical tips to apply that have to do with, starting your healthy habits now, like we're talking about, instead of being reactive and starting on the first. I think that's really going to help reiterate the point of this episode. And then also episode 11, way back, on loving yourself unconditionally. That's really going to support this message of being kind to yourself when you are stepping outside of some of your normal routines and habits, but still maintaining a positive outlook on yourself and your body and the way that you look at food and all of that stuff. You guys, I've honestly never been so excited to get into bed since getting a set of Cozy Earth sheets. I feel a noticeable difference every time I slip into bed, more than any other sheets I've ever owned in my life. If you want to make gift giving super easy on yourself this holiday season, I'm telling you, your loved ones will not be able to thank you enough for gifting anything from Cozy Earth. They're like a one-stop shop for everything you need for the most restful night of sleep, from pajamas and premium bath products to temperature regulating bedding. Everything is made from ethically sourced viscose from bamboo and feels so premium. And I'm so excited to share that Cozy Earth is giving Mindset Mile listeners 40% off your entire purchase when you use the code Mindset Mile. Treat yourself or give the gift of Cozy Earth this holiday season. That's 40% off site-wide when you use code Mindset Mile. Another suggestion I have is staying very hydrated. Most people walk around very dehydrated, and I want to encourage you to drink 100 ounces of water per day, starting now through the end of this year. I really think that that's going to be, you're going to see such a difference. Even when you do eat maybe more sweets than usual or heavier meals, or if you're having a glass of wine or two, like, hydration is such an important thing when it comes to your sleep, your mental clarity, your energy. So though you might be partaking in things that you don't normally do, staying hydrated is going to counterbalance some of that. You'll really feel the benefit of this, especially if drinking close to, if not 100 ounces of water per day is not in your norm already with your healthy habits of exercise and, maybe cleaner eating. That's really going to counterbalance some of the things you might be partaking in over these next couple months. Another suggestion I have for you to maintain balance mentally is meditate for 5 to 10 minutes a day. Keep yourself grounded and maintain perspective. This is going to help you keep the important things important and keep the small things small. And we tend to make a big deal out of the small things when life gets a little bit more chaotic and busy and stressful, whether that's traffic or gifting or the perfect outfit for the holiday party. Stop adding pressure to yourself where there doesn't need to be any. All of those things in relation to life are seriously so small. And taking 5 to 10 minutes to just get your mind right every day, whether that's in the beginning of your day, preferably, or at the end of the day, pick a meditation app. I don't care what it is. Maybe you already meditate. Make it a challenge where you commit to doing this starting today through the end of the year. Do not let these small things go to the wayside. Another tip I have for you is to plan as much as you can in advance. So there are a couple probably big things you already know about, including holidays or times that you're going to be traveling out of town to visit family or friends. Make sure that you are marking your schedule for holiday parties, kids' school events, etc. Make sure that you can see the things that you for sure do not want to miss out on. You know, even if that's like a parade in your town, something that you do every year with your family, traditions, put those things on the calendar so you can lay it out and you can see exactly what you want to partake in this year. And then beyond that, set boundaries for the things that come up last minute, because we know there's tons of things that you will be invited to. You don't have to say yes to everything. Do not overcommit. If you find yourself having a couple, let's say there's one thing on the calendar during the weeknights that you for sure don't want to miss, but then there's these other things that come up and you've already committed to one more. Listen, being away from home or getting out of your routine 3 to 4 or more weeknights with plans is probably too much. And how many times, you probably know this by now, but how many times does it take to teach yourself the lesson that it's really not as much, you won't have as much fun in relation to how awful it feels to be dragging at work the next day, or feeling sluggish or tired and feeling guilty for how you've spent your time, or for doing something you said that you weren't going to do or commit to. You guys, this is going to be huge. Setting boundaries this time of year is going to diffuse a lot of the stress and exhaustion that comes with the holidays, period. The last thing is choose gratitude over guilt. It's very easy to lose focus and spiral into guilt, whether that is for overeating or overspending or being too busy or not having enough time for your gym or exercise. Hopefully you implement the things we've talked about in this show and you can avoid most of this. But if there is a point within the next couple months that you feel guilty, shift your mind to gratitude. And the way that you can do this is when you start feeling bad, immediately grab a piece of paper and write 3 things you're grateful for. So for example, instead of feeling guilty for eating meals or sweets or something that you normally don't eat, find gratitude for the person who took the time to make that meal or make that treat. That is their life. That's their life. They took time out of their busy schedules and life to give and make something for you and for other people. Or be grateful that you have the funds to give. Or on the flip side, if you're feeling guilty or pressure about what you are not giving, because maybe funds are tight or you don't have extra to give, which that's very silly. You should never feel guilty about what you're not able to give or give more or give a bigger gift. Gifting is such a generous gesture that it doesn't matter what it is. So just remove that pressure from yourself to begin with, but be grateful, let's say, for the creativity and time you took to make the thoughtful gifts. Maybe you DIY'd a couple things, or maybe you just wrote cards for people. Be grateful for the creativity that you had and the thoughtfulness that you had to give when you didn't have a ton of extra. This really is the season of giving, and it doesn't have to be something big. there's just always something to be grateful for. So I promise, if you start feeling guilty, choose gratitude and do it by taking quick action and writing down what you are grateful for in that moment. So this season, we tend to get stressed and overwhelmed during the holidays when we make things about us. And in the most loving way possible, I want to remind you that this is not all about you and how you are affected by this season. This season is about an energy, and I want you to be excited to be a part of why people love this season of connection and giving and gratitude. And it's going to start by maintaining a healthy mindset and healthy habits. You can then spread your light, spread joy, and spread everything that people love about you when you are pouring from a glass that is full. I hope this episode spoke to you. Please share it with someone and tag me on social media at Aisha Zaza and hashtag Mindset Mile. I love seeing you and connecting with you online. I can't wait to see you next week. And until then, make it a great day.